They are beyond the pale, many of those people. Beyond the pale. And it's a sad commentary on society. We have no choice but to take them out of society.
At the dawn of the nanomedicine age, nanoparticles and nanodevices will... Let me introduce you to the brave new world of nanotechnology in healthcare. This is Bertalan Meskó, and you're watching the channel of the medical futures. A nanometer is 1,000,000 times smaller than the length of an ant. A sheet of paper is about 100,000 nanometers thick. It's basically atomic and molecular level. Nanotechnology comprises science, engineering, and technology conducted at the nanoscale. And we are more advanced at it than you think. For example, researchers from the Max Planck Institute have been experimenting with exceptionally micro-sized, smaller than a millimeter robots that literally swim through your bodily fluids and could be used to deliver drugs in a highly targeted way. These scallop-like microbots are designed to swim through non-Newtonian fluids like your bloodstream, around your lymphatic system, or across the slippery goo on the surface of your eyeballs. Nanotechnology has the potential to revolutionize the way we collect medical data. With nano-sized diagnostic devices throughout our bodies, we'll be able to detect chemical changes on the spot. These devices could be programmed into gathering information about certain body parts, levels of toxins and other substances, and report back to medical professionals or to its hosts. In the future, it might become a reality that a nanorobot sends alerts to your smartphone about the changes it detects. This allows for detection of diseases and real-time tracking of a patient's health status. Imagine programmable nanoparticles which could help tackle the day-to-day miseries of chronic conditions like diabetes. For example, they could deliver insulin to initiate cell growth and regenerate tissue at a target location. They could also be programmed to bring certain substances to cells or could be injected into the bloodstream to seek out and remove damaged cells or grow new cells. But programmable nanoparticles that attack cancer cells directly without damaging other tissues could mean a revolution in cancer treatment. It's more like a Tomahawk precision missile. It would be an amazing addition to our arsenal against cancer. Nanotechnology has made it possible for researchers to collect in-depth data on the human brain. Nanoparticles are able to cross the blood-brain barrier and access the brain's remote areas. They have also shown tremendous potential in being a useful alternative to diagnosing and treating neurological diseases.
I'm gonna mess you up. This means paradigm shift. Even some of y'all messed up now, but I'm gonna paradigm shift you in your mind. Because many of us are afraid of the tribulation. And I had to understand some things myself. Many of us are going through the tribulation. Some of us won't go through the tribulation. Something's gonna happen, but they won't tell you.
Introduce Modric Mayasera. I think I need to introduce Lemba Jews. Many, in fact, based on my last conversations, most of you have heard about that there's a African tribe with the Cohen gene.
The Cohen gene or the Aaron gene means that you have a male descendant in your family that is directly descended from Aaron, which is the brother of Moses.
It's true. The men of the Lemba tribe in South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique do in fact have the Cohen modal haplotype.
Look at the area family. This gene can also be found in Madagascar, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, South Africa, the Cohen gene, directly from where they got slaves. As you can see, they didn't get slaves from all over Africa, only specific
In the
parts.
same proportion as Jews around the world. For those of you not familiar with the Cohen modal haplotype, geneticists have found a certain marker on the Y chromosome called the haplotype that is found in approximately 50% of the self-identified Kohanim, both Ashkenazi and Mizrahim, about 15% in the Levim, and 2 to 6% in the rest of the Jews.
Most Ashkenazi Jews only have a very tiny percent of the population that has this chromosome, this extra Y chromosome, or the Aaron gene. Okay. However, Negroes or the Hebrews from this area have more than 50%.
Jewish populations, the haplotype is non-existent or less than 1%. Among the 12 Lemba clans, the Buba clan has more than 53%. The rest of the Lemba having somewhere between 2 and 9%. While this genetic link is very important, it is only part of the story. And to me, the more important part is the fact that this is a group of practicing Jews. In spite of being isolated in tribal Africa, in spite of being missionized by innumerable Christian churches, schools, and sects, and then by Muslims and now by Jews for Jesus, the Lemba keep practicing Judaism. Their traditional story is that they lost their book. So all their practices and history, by necessity, are passed down orally. Is that for at least 1,000 years, and possibly much longer, they have held to Jewish halacha and did it orally. So why haven't we Jews heard about the Lemba? Because the Lemba have been hiding out.
And you say, why is this important? Because to know the Messiah, you're going to have to know who he's coming for. Even the Africans, they won't tell them. That's why they're going over taking the Lemba tribe's DNA, knowing who they was the whole time. They're trying to find out, where's Israel? Where the whole world is about you. It's all, y'all don't get, if you get, it's out. That's why the Bible says that them fake Jews, they call themselves Jews, he said, I'm going to come and make them worship at your feet. When is that? That's not the millennium when Christ comes. Come on, let it sing. That's not when Christ comes. Are y'all there? Because these scriptures did not make sense until we found out who we're talking to. Talk to me. So when you read, y'all got Jeremiah 50? Look at verse 4. In those days, in that time, let me get there in my big Bible. Jeremiah 50. Okay. Oh, no, I got to read the whole thing. Verse 1. Oh, Lord. Verse 1. The word that the Lord spake against Babylon. Now, this they've been lying about this Babylon, because we were taught, see, Babylon is a place, but it's also a system. So it's not just a place, it's a system. The system of Babylon is just colonialism, domination, imperialism, what they've done all over the world. That's the system. Who's over that system? Rome. Religiously, Rome is. Government, Zionists are. Whore, beast. Come on. They all under this same judgment. Now, what was I saying? Babylon. Now, I'll read it. The word that the Lord spake against Babylon and against. Now, remember when the Bible describes Babylon, it's real specific on how Babylon is. Babylon trades with all the kings of the earth. She exports all her stuff all over the world. She even traffics in the souls of men. Babylon. Babylon was called Babylon, confusion. That's that melting pot. All these people here, you can be anywhere you want to be. You can worship anywhere you want to. America is that, it's America.
Now let's talk about the other thing. They say the welfare reform bill increased poverty. Then why do we have the largest drop in African American poverty in history when I was president? We left them with enough money to take care of all the poor people who couldn't go to work on welfare. We left them with the money they had before the welfare rolls went down 60%. The Republicans took it away, and they're blaming me. Vice President Biden, you guys know Vice President Biden, whose family comes from Scranton. He was the chairman of the committee that had jurisdiction over this crime bill.
We must take back the streets. It doesn't matter whether or not they were deprived as a youth. It doesn't matter whether or not they had no background that enabled them to become socialized into the fabric of society. It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society. The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister, beat up my wife, take on my sons. So I don't want to ask what made them do this. They must be taken off the street. That's number one. There's a consensus on that. Unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing, because they literally, I yield myself 3 more minutes, because they literally have not been socialized. They literally have not had an opportunity. We should focus on them now. If we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets that society has, in fact, in part because of its neglect, created. Again, it does not mean because we created them that we somehow forgive them or do not take them out of society to protect my family and yours from them. They are beyond the pale, many of those people. Beyond the pale. And it's a sad commentary on society. We have no choice but to take them out of society. And the truth is, we don't very well know how to rehabilitate them at that point. That's the sad truth. I'm the guy that said, Rehabilitation, when it occurs, we don't understand it and notice it. And even when we notice it and we know it occurs, we don't know why. So you cannot make rehabilitation a condition for release. That's why in our system, there's the federal system, you serve 85% of your time. It's a shame that we don't know how to rehabilitate. But there is a consensus, and I will cease. A, we must make the streets safer. I don't care why someone is a malfactor in society. I don't care why someone is antisocial. I don't care why they become a sociopath. We have an obligation to cordon them off from the rest of society, try to help them, try to change their behavior. That's why we do in this bill. We have drug treatment and we have other treatments to try to deal with it. But they are in jail, away from my mother, your husband, our families. But we would be absolutely stupid as a society if we didn't recognize the condition that nurtured those folks still exists, and we must deal with that.
We did all that. And Biden said, you can't pass this bill, the Republicans will kill it if you don't put more sentencing in. Yesterday, she and the mayor were talking about reentry programs for young people who get out of prison who've been in there too long for nonviolent offenses. She was the first person that really talked about that.
But first, never-before-seen video of Hillary Clinton inside the Walmart empire. She is probably one of the most investigative politicians in American history. And this morning, you're going to see her in a way you've never seen her before.
Hillary Clinton served for 6 years on the board of Walmart, the huge retailer criticized by many for its treatment of workers and its strident opposition to unions. Just how strident can be seen in videotapes ABC News has obtained from the archives of a production company hired by Walmart to record its meetings, now providing you rare clips inside the company and a very corporate Hillary Clinton.
Labor unions are nothing but blood-sucking parasites living off of the productive labor of people who work for a living.
Hillary Clinton was not present at this Walmart meeting, but Tate was relied on for years to keep unions out at Walmart, including during the 6 years from 1986 to 92. Clinton has since denounced Walmart policies, but at this 1990 stockholders meeting, she seemed to be very much the loyal company woman.
You know, as a shareholder and director of our company, I'm always proud of Walmart and what we do and the way we do it better than anybody else.
As the wife of the then governor of Arkansas, Clinton also took a role in supporting a Buy America program to create American jobs.
One of the reasons we want to buy America is because we love America.
But as I reported at the time for NBC News in 1992, Walmart continued to get most of its products from overseas during its Buy America program, including from this factory in Bangladesh that used 11 and 12-year-old girls. Some of the foreign-made clothing was later found to be sold under Made in America signs in Walmart stores.
Made in Korea, made in China.
All at a time that Hillary Clinton served on the Walmart board. Clinton now says she...
traveling in Africa this weekend, spending today in his father's homeland, Kenya, where he took on the country's law that makes homosexuality illegal. Chief White House correspondent Major Garrett is with the president in Nairobi.
President Obama arrived at Kenya's White House for a face-to-face meeting with President Uhuru Kenyatta. The two agreed on new counter-terrorism measures, and Kenyatta welcomed more U.S. aid to boost young African entrepreneurs. But the two clashed on Kenya's refusal to protect the rights of gays and lesbians.
When a government gets in the habit of treating people differently, those habits can spread. The idea that they are going to be treated differently or abused because of who they love is wrong.
But there are some things that we must admit we don't share. Our culture, our societies don't accept. For Kenyans today, the issue of gay rights is really a non-issue.
Now let's talk about the other thing. They say the welfare reform bill increased poverty. Then why do we have the largest...
Now, the reason why they won't teach you that is because the theologians don't want you to know that the European nations are the ones that the Bible's talking about. The judgment that's coming. That's going to come on you if you're with them. If you didn't receive the Messiah, you going where they going. That's why I don't counsel out Christ, because you know who you are. You just now need to understand. See, when you understand this, you understand the end time. Come on, talk back to me. Now look. So it says now, I don't have time to do it all. It says, the word that the Lord spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet, declare ye among the nations, among the what? And publish and set up a standard, publish and conceal not, say Babylon is taken, Baal is confounded, Merodach is broken in pieces, her idols are confounded, her images are broken in pieces. For out of the north, say the north, cometh a nation against her, which will make her desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall depart man and beast. Now you see this happening now. You just don't know what you're looking at. The land of the north is Russia. Russia and China. And now listen, you don't think the Most High not setting this up? The Most High setting this up. Listen, he's making America isolate themselves. America got out of the European Union. In China, when America did that, China and Russia said, well, we together. China and Russia are ready to do America.
A lot of foes. I think the European Union is a foe, what they do to us in trade. Now, you wouldn't think of the European Union, but they're a foe. Russia's a foe in certain respects. China's a foe economically, certainly. They're a foe.
He told an American news network that EU countries were taking advantage of the US and not paying their NATO bills.
And the WHO's biggest donor is the U.S. The U.S. contributes $450 million every year, roughly. It's hard to underestimate just how much the WHO feels like an American institution in some ways. CDC people work there. American NIH people work there. It's a very kind of America-influenced organization. And if Trump is able to leave, you will really feel a difference in this, big, huge global health community.
Have been considerably less effective in handling this. At this point, it is clear that the trajectory in the U.S. is significantly worse than many other countries, and that our government and this administration have been considerably less effective in handling this.
I'm instructing my administration to halt funding of the World Health Organization.
He has to win re-election if he wants to follow through on this. A U.S. congressional act that brought us into the WHO requires us to give 1 year notice before we leave.
COVID-19 press brief.
It's a UN agency of nearly 200 countries, can't do anything without kind of a broad consensus. It does a bunch of little stuff that we don't think about. For example, right now, we need to test these vaccines, but it's hard to test, right? The WHO coordinates those vaccine and drug trials by having doctors all over the world try these things out. I think the allies are really pushing the U.S. to stay within the WHO. A lot of them share the Trump administration's frustrations. They do think the WHO might not be the perfect institution, that it kind of failed at some critical moments here, but they would really prefer that the U.S. would stay in. China's really remaking the UN. China and its allies are winning seats that used to just sort of fall to Western countries kind of naturally. If the U.S. leaves, I think naturally people will look to China for moral and financial and tangible leadership in this pandemic. A lot of global health experts feel like leaving the WHO in the middle of a pandemic is going to cost. It's going to cost in lives, and it's going to cost in American influence.
We see right now, we see Joe Biden opening up a wide lead. These, simply put, John, are huge, huge leads. This is a huge story.
Yeah, it's a blowout.
I love the old days. You know what they used to do to guys like that when they were in a place like this? They'd be carried out on a stretcher, folks. That's true.
You bet I liked it.
Yeah? What'd you like about it?
Knocking hell out of that big mouth. We don't know who he is, but we know he's not acting like an American.
So you deserved it?
Every bit of it.
What was that?
Yes, he deserved it. The next time we see him, we might have to kill him.
They are Hebrew Israelites, and that's not a religion, that's not a cult, it's strictly a nationality bloodline. That's not a cult, it's strictly a nationality bloodline of people, and it's that simple. They're a bloodline, and you cannot convert into being an Israelite. You can't, change to be an Israelite. You are what your father was, what your forefathers are.
Whitewashing is in everything. The media, education, history is whitewashed and biased. Education is whitewashed and biased.
The true Jews, according to the Bible, you can check it in the Bible, you can read Job 30:30 and some other places. They have never been white. They have been people of color. And they have not stopped in Ethiopia. They were in Ethiopia, Sudan, and they have settled in West Africa. From West Africa, they have been taken as slaves to America. Brothers and sisters, blacks of America, it's you. You are the true Hebrews. You are the true Hebrews from the Bible. America gonna do everything, gonna invest as much money as it has, gonna fight as much wars as they can, gonna invite as much weapons as they can just to hide this away from you. Gonna take Israel, gonna bring white people here and to tell you these are the Jews, gonna kill you, gonna kill Arabs, gonna mistreat white people like this guy just to tell you this lie that you are nobody and we are the Jews with all the history and so on. It has been deleted, your history. You don't know who you are. Don't forget about it. This is why America has been taking your history away, never to find out that it's all about you. I'm telling you this, please. I don't ask you to come to Israel and to start a revolution. I'm just asking you to start thinking this way, to believe me a little bit, because I'm living in Israel and I'm part of this injustice. I really believe that people like me and you, we can bring the justice back.
from my perspective, it is absolutely true, and it is provable, that's the thing. Not only by history and looking into the scriptures, but by DNA as well. There are articles on it. The true Hebrews, the Hebrew Israelites, also known as the Israelites, also known as the Jews. Who are they? The lost 12 tribes of Israel. Modern day, if you want to be really technically accurate, they're dark-skinned people. They're black people. The true Jews of the Bible are black people. They're dark-skinned people. And all over the world, but especially pertaining to America and the US, there are groups of Negroes and Latinos and Native Americans. There is a doctrine that goes around, and it is that the Negroes, the Latinos, and the Native Americans are part of the 12 tribes of Israel. This is true, they are.
According to optimistic futurists, nanomedicines, like smart drugs, will lead to the prevention of illnesses, even aging, making us superhuman. But it's time for the medical community, regulators, and the public to start to catch up, because the nano-future is upon us.
Young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing, because they literally, I yield myself 3 more minutes, because they literally have not been socialized. They literally have not had an opportunity. We should focus on them now. If we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets that society has, in fact, in part because of its neglect, created. Again, it does not mean because we created them that we somehow forgive them or do not take them out of society to protect my family and yours from them. They are beyond the pale, many of those people. Beyond the pale. And it's a sad commentary on society. We have no choice but to take them out of society.